Hello and welcome everyone to my channel where I offer fun guided art tutorials on the Procreate app using an iPad. New videos are put out every Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you like the channel, please like and subscribe. Alright, this is your time to relax. Let's dive into it. For step number one, we're going to create a new canvas. You can do a screen size. I always do 16-inch width by 20-inch in height, just in case I want to print it down the road. You can do whatever you prefer. Step number two, we're going to be working on the background. So I start by going to the color wheel. We go into the dark blue section. You can slow it down to see the specific color that I chose. And then we pick a darker blue color with a round brush, and we just darken up the two edges, so the left and the right side. And then I'll go in with the smudge tool, and we're gonna, in a streaking motion, we're gonna smudge those colors into each other. Step number three, we're gonna be working on the jellyfish head. In the color wheel, we pick kind of a mid-tone blue. Again, you could go back just to see the specific color that I chose. It doesn't really matter, and you can choose whatever color you'd like. Think of, when you're doing this, think of a mushroom head. So nothing too circular, but more wide. And we're going to fill in the head of the jellyfish, all one color. We're going to click it, and we're going to alpha lock it so that we can paint in that locked area and not outside of it. I go back to the wheel disc and I pick a darker color, and I add a little bit of shading. Even darker color, and I just splotch it in a few spots. And then I pick the smudge tool and I kind of blend all of those colors together. This is kind of just the beginning. If you're new here, what I usually do is I add a few colors, then smudge, and then add colors and continue. So I picked a lighter color from the disc, and I'm kind of making ridges, or what would appear to be ridges in the jellyfish head. And I'm smudging those lighter colors in. With a syrup brush, I pick a lighter blue color, more towards that ocean blue section. And I'm adding some highlights. Make sure not to do a firm line. It just doesn't look as realistic, unless you like it that way. I did like dabs or dashes, as you can see. And then I streaked it up in a few places. Don't worry, we're going to carry that through with the smudge tool, just so it's not as obvious. I'm just trying different textures here. And again, I take that smudge tool and we just kind of blend it into the head of the jellyfish a little bit more, just so it's not so obnoxious. Step number four, we're going to be working on the arms of the jellyfish. We're going to be using the syrup brush in the inking section. So we're going to go back to the original color that we originally used for the head of the jellyfish. So if you have that saved, go back to that. We're going to create another layer. So this is the third layer. And you're going to start by adding squiggly lines and a straight line. So with each straight line will accompany a squiggly line. And you'll see it will make sense in a bit. And you can overlap them however you want it to look. So once you're happy with it, we go in and we're going to make sure that all the lines are connected because we're going to be dragging and dropping and filling these sections in with all one color. I'm having a little bit of issues here. We fill all those sections of the arms. And then we're going to go to the underside of the head. Again, using that syrup brush in the same color. And we're going to just fill in that area. We're going to click on that layer and we're going to select Alpha Lock. And then that will allow us to shade in that area using a round brush and a dark blue color. We're going to do the same kind of color style as we did with the head. It doesn't really have to make sense right now. Just add some shadowing where you seem fit. Just keep to the same sort of pattern, I would say. So I'm kind of sticking all to the right side for the shadows. And then we're going to take that smudge tool and we're going to lightly just smudge out some of the hard edges. You can see that I'm wisping a lot. It's just to create some texture. I apologize if I sound a little muffled. I have a cold right now. All right. So we're going to finish that up, and then we're going to add the next color, which when we go to our color wheel, it'll just be that next darker color. So again, the same thing we used with the head. And I go over a couple extra spots that I wanted darker. It looks funky right now, but trust the process. And once we start adding more colors and more textures, it really comes alive. Next we pick that light blue color, that oceany color. And wherever is lighter, so the left-hand side usually is where I would add the lighter colors. Notice that I am using more of like a line type style here. And again, we're going to be using that smudge tool, so no need in making it perfect right now. All right, so the next thing I do is I grab an orange color. Doesn't really matter what kind of orange color. We're just going to add a little bit of a pop, just so it's not all blue. And I picked a few select spots to add orange. And then we're going to smudge it out again so it looks a little bit better. And I go in with a really light blue in that inking brush. And this is where it kind of starts to look really neat. And I'm adding really loose, really wavy lines, so be really scribbly with it. The looser, the better. We have one more arm left. And then we're going to go in to the head, and I just added a couple just highlights to the head using a white color, and then I carry that down into the arms as well. I always save really dark colors and really light colors till the very last thing, and you don't want to overdo it with it. And then a little bit of white at the top just to add some highlights. Step 6 is the water details. So using a round brush and a white color, I just add a tiny little dab to the top of the screen. And using the smudge tool, I bring it down, kind of to make it look like there's a little bit of sunlight peeking through the water. I went into the luminescence section and I picked those little light balls. I can't remember what they're called. Bokeh? No, bokeh? I can't even say that. The lights. So I added that first, and then on top of that was just with a light pen, I added little specks in the water that would kind of be suspended and then catching the light of the sun from above. And then step number 7 is the last thing here, and we're going to add the tentacles. You can do it however you like. You can see I do it 2 different ways here by adding several different tentacles. I'm a very simple person, so I just ended up sticking with 3 and just to keep it nice and plain. So there's that, and then I undid it. The only thing I would do differently is I would make them a little bit longer. But this is pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys for following along and watching my videos. Again, if you like them, please like the video itself and comment down below and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day.